Shalom, this is Mary Omni, also known as Mary Magdalene, from the house of King David. I am the woman in Revelations 12, the woman of Galatians 4:4. Refer to your Bible. And I'm asking you to consider that I am who I say I am. I'm asking you to just consider that I may be who I say I am. I'm asking you to consider that Christ is now born, the King of Israel. The King of Judah was born February the 15th, 2011 in Anchorage, Alaska. I am his mother, Mary Magdalene, from the house of King David. And this is the house and law of King David. This is a Republic notice to President Obama stole Jessie Jackson Jr. legacy. Propaganda. I said the word propaganda thrice because I want you to understand that's all it is. It's propaganda. Jessie Jackson Sr. laid the foundation for President Obama. As you saw at the inauguration, he was crying because he knew his work and effort had something to do with President Obama being president. He was part of the civil rights movement of the 60s. So, it's a blatant misinterpretation or a lie that President Obama stole Jessie Jackson Jr. legacy. He can't take nothing from Jessie Jackson Jr. He can't take anything from him. Jessie Jackson Jr. is the Judah scepter. Okay? Judah scepter in a holy covenant, constitutional. He the 15th wall of the New Jerusalem, as his father is the 15th wall of the New Jerusalem. The 15th is the inherited vote of non-consent jurisdiction supremacy. Okay? All blacks came here as 3/5 that are in that constitution as constitutional citizens. 3/5 couldn't consent to be governed in a constitution, and when they got their legal citizenship, it became a legal 14th non-consented, a non-consented inherited 14th. Okay? So this non-consented inherited 14th mean that they're the only true citizens in America, and citizens like President Obama, who's the citizen of several states, and as Ephraim. But Jessie Jackson Jr. is Judah, the scepter, which means he has the supremacy, and his father has the supremacy. So, President Obama knows this. This is why he said he wasn't the president of blacks, because he knows blacks are the ruling scepter. And they're the ruling scepter with eyes wide shut. You want to take white skin, brown skin, or just because you came here to America voluntarily and ignore the Constitution for your own privilege and benefit and to smell your own dung glory, because that's all you do is have dung glory contracts. And President Obama is protected by Jessie Jackson Jr., 15 Jerusalem wall. So whatever President Obama signs, he's the blameless. He's with the blameless, the set-aparts, the non-consenters, because he's married to a non-consenter through his Lord children, Malia and Sasha, meaning his blood is in the Constitution. So Jessie Jackson Jr. Has no reason to be jealous, envious, or anything of them. They're on the same team. This old divide and conquer stuff is not going to work in 2012 beyond, in 2012 beyond. They're one nation under God. President Obama and Jessie Jackson Jr., they're one nation under God, indivisible. Okay. So the thing of it is, and they're one nation under non-consent jurisdiction supremacy. That's the Judah scepter. And Jessie Jackson Jr. holds it. So he, even if you bring so-called charges against Jessie Jackson Jr. for anything, you have to prove that you got a contract under your own corporate doctrines and gangsterism that supreme his constitutionality. Otherwise, you're just a weak trampler, and a pack of dogs can trample. That don't mean the deed or the contract changes. So some gangsters in Chicago want to call themselves district attorneys and all this sort of stuff and trample him to try to move him out of his constitutional position as either the House of Representatives or Senators in Illinois. You can't move Jessie Jackson Jr. out. Yeah, just like you tried to move Burris out. Burris still have that position. This man only is in there under corporate doctrine. Burris, by the 15th wall, non-consented him so that everything he does is nullified. Yeah, he can be in there, but he's just like a puppet. Everything he does could be nullified by Burris. All Burris got to say is, I nullify that, because if he ain't voting the way Burris want him to vote, Burris preemptively nullifies him by his 15th Amendment. But for your practical purposes, he can go there and act like a shell, because that's all they doing is playing a shell game, most of these senators. And when I say senators, I say S-I-N, senators, because all they do is senators. You know, they put you in incinerators as fuel to dung for Satan. And that's all they've been. They ain't going to tell you the truth about how they play double agents. And so, Blvd, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, and excuse me if I'm not. But anyway, he followed the Constitution. See, this is what they not telling you. And he went against the code because he followed the Constitution. And he appointed Burris to that senatorial seat. Burris is a national citizen. Now, you see, the Congress tried to lock him out because they're S-I-N-ators. They burn and dung for Satan. And I done saw Satan. Satan unclaimed all their souls. Oh, boy, he was throwing the whole sea to try to keep, the kingdom of Yahshua from getting him. He was saying, I got all these souls. I got a sea of souls here, there, and there. He was showing them all to us, all the souls he got. He ready to burn them as fonators. So and the senators, the S-I-N, helped them incinerate these souls for Satan to burn as dung. And so most of these people walking around are dead in shells anyway. Their souls is already claimed, and it's going to be a matter of time before the sun sees them as soulless and say, okay, you're not supposed to be under this sun anymore. You have no soul to be under the sun. So therefore, leave Jessie Jackson Jr. alone or show that you got a supreme contract on him. And I don't care. God people don't have to be perfect. God people don't have to please you. He is God's namesake. He is Judah the scepter in a supreme contract. You have no contract to supersede or supreme his constitutional supremacy. I don't care what you think he done under your law. You have no contract authority. Only Judah can chastise Judah. Judah is the scepter tribe. He has to answer to Judah, and he has to answer to the Most High. Not you in corporate doctrine, senators, state legislators, so-called FBI agents, and all of you who want to try to punish him for wanting his constitutionality, for wanting his senatorial seat that's already constitutionalized, because blacks are the real senators. You take the black caucus and try to put them in a district, but they national citizens and say it's clear as day in the Constitution. So you can't put them in a district. They national citizens, and they can nullify anything you do. You keep on playing your dung contracts, and they have went along with it by now because they didn't know their army or their enforcement was here. Well, 2012, Congress declared the year of the Bible, and if you understand the 2012, the year of the Bible, then you understand you have nothing to supreme Jessie Jackson Jr., and you have nothing if the constitutional citizens said they wanted him there to stop him. Not only is he in that district, he's a national citizen, which means that he's one of the most powerful senators in Washington. And President Obama will sit at the table with him because eventually he'll have no choice once Jessie Jackson Jr. assert his constitutionality and say, I'm national. You cannot confine me to anything else but national. So that other one you got sitting up there that's in corporate doctrine, that's in your acceptable pale skin, he is nullified. Burris Wall nullified him. Burris and Jessie Jackson Jr. have both of them Senate seats in Illinois. Now, whether Burris wants to fulfill his or not, that's on him. But he didn't have to step down. But he didn't want to cause a ruckus because he's up in age. Now, Jessie Jackson Jr. may have had some problems, but God people always have problems. And they ain't like the way you want them to look. If you look at a lot of them, they had a drinking problem, they had this problem, they had that problem. They still God people, and he still supremed them whether you like it or not. So he ain't got to fit your trampling and your incorporate doctrines interpretation of law. You have to show that you serving him or you will perish. You have to get off of his 14 birthrights. You on Jessie Jackson Jr. 4 birthrights and land. And the fact that he had to pay somebody, or what you think he had to pay somebody just for his land and birthrights, shows your level of trampling and your criminality. So when you come after him, understand that we're going to be surveillancing you constitutionally and see you as indicting yourself as a constitutional embezzler, larcenist, embezzler, and trampler of constitutional citizens and property. And you're going to be charged with treason and sedition. And we will get every one of you, each one of you, if it takes 8 lifetimes, because we're going to be here that long. We've been here forever. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David.